Hey everyone, Lonnie here. Today is kind of a part 3 of my shop space series. Today I'm going to work underneath the workbench to create a small rack for short sections of wood, and then I'm going to create a little bit of shelving for some of my tools that I use here at the workbench so I keep them close at hand. Now as you can see, I've got everything cleared out nice and neat. And I got a blank surface to work with. Now my actual wood rack is going to go from this drawer support to here and no taller. I just want to make a unit to slide in, fasten down with a couple of screws. That way if I want to remove it or change my mind later on, I can. I'm only going to put, I might go 3 shelves, more than likely it'll be 2, depending on what the inner dimensions of it look like when I get done. I'm not going to get carried away with organization because we all know eventually wood will just be thrown in there anyway. Now the dimensions for the small wood rack I'm building to fit underneath my workbench is going to be about 35 centimeters wide, about 55 centimeters tall, and about 60 centimeters deep. I'm going to construct it all out of strips I've salvaged from packing crates. They're going to be approximately 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters. That's all I'm going to do is cut the strips and probably glue and brad nail them together and go from there. At this point, all I've done is cut some 2.5 centimeter or 1 inch strips. I'll begin by simply cutting out the pieces I need, and once I get all my sizes, I'll simply start gluing them together. Now that I've got all my pieces cut out, I'm pretty much ready to start the assembly process. But I did make a mistake. I've got an abundant supply of wood at this time, so I wasn't really thinking ahead. If you're limited, you want to start cutting out your larger pieces, working your way down. I did it complete opposite and went small to large. The reason for this is by the time I got to my small 35 centimeter pieces, I had waste wood that would have been more than ample to cut them out, and I could actually have cut less wood or saved a board or two. In fact, I've even got a few that are about the same length as my 55s. So let's get this thing put together. Now with everything ready to go, we're going to work on the 55 millimeter, which is your height, and 35 millimeter wide. Just going to loosely dry fit them. I'm going to just split the difference, which is at 55, so about 26. All right. Glue the top and bottom sections. Just a little bit. I'm going to use brads on this later just to speed up the process. I can do the final squaring up. Get the first layer on. mind this is for small pieces. I'll give it about an hour and I'll start on the next piece. Now, thanks to the magic of YouTube, an hour has passed. All my pieces ready for the next step. Now I'll do this real slow. Just a little spot of glue. Make sure you have eye protection. Using 1-inch brads. I've gone back through and I've added a brad at every single glue joint. Apparently it takes longer than an hour for my brand of glue to dry. So now all I'm going to do is insert this underneath the table and I'll go from there. Now once you get everything done, ideally it should slide in. In all honesty, I had to take off a drawer guide to make it fit. I used a couple of brads to tack it into place. Tacked it to part of my drawer guide. And that's all there is to it. 2 shelves. Eventually I'll probably end up piling stuff in here anyway. But that gives me storage for my extra small boards. I have a limit in the shop of I don't keep nothing 10 inches or 25.5 centimeters as far as my salvaged woods. I'm talking pallets, packing crates, stuff like that. Now if it's exotics or hardwoods, yeah, I'll go a lot smaller on them. But otherwise, if you're trying to amass a pile of wood, and if you save each and every little piece, you're going to get overran with it. So when it's below those measurements, I set it in this bucket down at the end of the workbench. It's kind of death row for wood. If I need that piece before I dump those buckets, it's still there. Once the 2 buckets get full, I dispose of them and start all over again. This helps control some of my stock and what I have and keeps things a lot neater. Alright, that's it for today. I realize it wasn't a very informative or creative build. I intended to do both sides of the workbench today, but I've discovered people don't like excessively long videos. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. and I'll just do a separate video on the other side. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch and ask you to please subscribe and like. Any and all comments are welcome. Constructive comments are preferred. Thank you.